Hello again. This is our third installment of our rhythmic analysis for the Melody of Stolen Moments by Oliver Nelson. Today we will be doing measures 9 through 16, so the last half of the melody, okay? Which I know looks complicated, but is not as complicated as you see, as it seems once we break it down. Okay, so let's dive right in. Of course, I've rewritten measures 9 through 16 on this blank sheet of paper, just the rhythm without the pitches. Before that, we are going to recap 16th notes and then go into the dotted eighth note, the dotted eighth note and the single 16th note together, which you will find throughout the first measures 9 through, what was that, 9 through 12. Okay, so again, each one of these represents 4 16th notes. So this would be, if I'm tapping quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E ender, 2 E ender, 3 E ender, 4 E ender. All right, it's basically divided into 4 equal parts over a quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we say 1 E ender, 2 E ender, 3 E ender, 4 E ender. Okay. All right. Now, when you couple them together, and you have a dotted eighth note. Now, a dotted eighth note by itself, okay. Again, let's do math, okay? So up here on my right, just a single eighth note by itself. This is half of a beat, okay? Now, let's do some math. Half of a beat, okay? Again, the dot, the eighth note, the dot adds an extra half of what it's attached to. So this is, the dot is attached to a note that is worth half a beat. The eighth note is worth half of a beat. Okay, what is half of half? Half of half is, half of half would be, let's say I had a $50, okay? And I said, give me half of a $50, all right? $50 is 50 cents. So if I asked for half of it, what would you give me? You would give me a quarter, okay? So in this case, relating it to music, the dotted half note with that dot, the dot would add an extra quarter of a beat, okay? So now you have the half from the eighth note plus the quarter, the extra quarter of a beat. Okay, so you now have 3/4 of a beat. This goes down to 3/4 of a beat. See how I got that? All right. So it'd be, so these first three, one E end, would now come together, and then this would be lone by itself. So it would be 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and sorry, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay. All right. Now, when you have them consecutive, just like you have them up here, okay, you have a crossbar that joins the first two beats, and then one that joins beats 3 and 4. Okay, so 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So this is one full beat, two full beats, 3, 4. Okay. Now that we have that, we've learned that, we can go up here and do our analysis. Okay, I'm trying to hold the camera and do this at the same time. Okay, so here we are. So we have dotted eighth note right on the first beat. So this would be 1 E and then we have a single eighth note Then here comes the next one, 2 E and okay, and then we know what this is already. That's a tie. It joins the values together. And this is another dotted eighth note, 3 E, and this next lone 16th note is 4 E and and then this is the lone 16th note. All right, and it's tied. Okay, so 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Let me back up. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1, 2, and 3, 4. Excuse me. 1 and 2, because it holds through 3. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. Okay. You'll find that the more we keep dividing a beat into parts, the harder it is to try to articulate it verbally. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I keep saying 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1 E and 1 E and 2 and 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay. So if you notice, what's the pattern that you notice throughout the 1, 2, 3, 4 measures? The first 4 measures, 1, 2, 3, 4. These measures are larger because there's more that has to fit into it as we divide more. Okay, it's not the 4 like there are 4 measures down here. Okay, what do you notice about the rhythmic pattern? Okay, dotted eighth note, 16th note, dotted eighth note, 16th note, tied to a dotted eighth note, 16th note, dotted eighth note, 16th note, tied to a dotted eighth note, 16th note, tied. So it's basically the same thing all the way throughout, the same pattern going all the way to here, okay? So it's not, when you're doing this analysis on your own, you don't, it's not as complicated. You're basically repeating the same thing over and over. You just have to, you'll have to figure that out, because of course I only do the first measure for you here. What I am going to do here though, for this bottom one for measures, this is measure 13, 14, 15, 16. I am going to, I will do this part, this measure for you. You have to complete this measure, okay? So, whole rest, half rest. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, full counts. 1 full count, 2 full count, 3. This is the downbeat of 3. That's an eighth rest, downbeat of 3. So this is a single eighth note. So obviously that is the upbeat or the and of 3. And then you have 2 eighth notes consecutive after that as well. 4 and. See how I did that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. Now, these last 2 measures are up to you. That's what I want you to complete as well. All right. So I hope that this has been helpful. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Okay. Both of this and this will be in this assignment description. Thanks.